My name is Macy, and I am one part of No Trace Trails, and I have Tori and Win here today, and they are the other part of No Trace Trails. We're really excited to talk to you a little bit today about why we're hiking the PCT, how we got here, and a little bit about our backgrounds and how we're prepared for the trail. So first, we need to introduce Win, a new face here on the YouTube channel. Win, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got here and who you are?
For sure, yeah. I'm Win, aka Dr. Trash. I'm a research scientist at the Moore Institute for Plastic Pollution Research. I've been studying trash in the environment for like 10 years now. Totally obsessed with it. If I could cover myself in trash every day, I'd be a happy person. I was part of this project. Really, Tori and I were hiking the High Sierra Trail, and we started doing a trail trash survey, and my eyes were super open to all the trash on the trails throughout California. And then Tori said she wanted to do the PCT, and I was like, whoa, maybe there's like some cool research thing that we can get into together on this. And
Wynn's like,
yeah.
I don't want to hike the PCT, but I want to know about the trash on the PCT.
Yeah.
And yeah, the survey that we did on that first hike, I mean, that was like the longest hike I think either of us had done. It was the longest hike I had done. I don't know about you. But it was just like really cool to have this objective, but it also felt like when we went into the ranger station at the beginning of the trail, they were like, this is the amount of trash we packed out. Like, this is like don't leave your trash out there. This is a popular trail. People do that. And so it felt like it was like applicable to that trail in that area too. And I think that's a similar thing with the PCT. It's like we're going through all these areas that are like really close to like big cities, like Southern California, like millions and millions of people live there, I think. And they do. Thank you. Riverside alone is like 300,000 people. Los Angeles, like all San Diego, all these huge cities.
No, that's so good.
But then we also go through these like way more remote areas, and so I think that allows us to like ask these different questions, like what trash do we find in different areas of the trail, like what are the most common items we find on the trail, and kind of use what we learned on our initial week-long survey that we did and kind of like blow that up into this much larger project. And really, like, one of my inspiration for doing the PCT was like at the end of that trail. I was like, I'm just like not ready to leave. Like, we're finishing with all these John Muir Trail hikers. I was like, these people like did the whole John Muir Trail. Like, that's awesome. I could just like keep going. Like, I could like go into town and like get food and just like keep going. And so at that point, I wanted to do the John Muir Trail. And then as we were like sitting at home during COVID, that just expanded to like, maybe I could do the whole Pacific Crest Trail, and maybe we could like bring this project to that hike as well. So yeah, that's kind of how we got going, and kind of started ramping everything up about almost a year ago. Last year is when we started reaching out to people, like, we're thinking of doing this thing 2023. We don't know what that looks like yet. It's like far away, but do you know people who would be interested in this, or are you interested in this? How can we like build a network and collaborate on this project to bring it to more people and make it like as meaningful and applicable as possible. And so one part of that is we connected to Rubbish, who we're still working really closely with, and is a big supporter of our project. They have a app that will allow you to take photos and track characteristics of trash. So we're going to integrate that into our project, and through that and through doing a Reddit Ask Me Anything Day, we ended up connecting with Macy, which has been like, I feel like it was meant to happen, because it was like out of the blue that we met each other. But I don't know like what that looked like for you, Macy, like how you were like, we're doing this thing, and then you reached out and were interested in that, and kind of like that's evolved in different ways for you over that time too.
Yeah, so this process looked a lot different to me because obviously I wasn't there for the start of that journey with your trash survey in Yosemite. But I followed Win on Twitter, and I followed Win on Twitter for a really long time. Just because I feel like there's a really good like microplastic researcher community on Twitter, and yeah, was just kind of plugged into that. And I saw this Ask Me Anything thread, and I was like, that's so cool. Oh my gosh, I should reach out to this girl, Tori, and see like what is this project about and hear a little bit more about it. And I remember like I reached out to her on Twitter and I was like, yeah, it'd be really cool to do some data analysis for you or something. Like if you just wanted to send me data while you were on trail, I'd love to kind of like vet through that. That would be a lot of fun. Which eventually turned into, oh, like it would be really fun to get out on the trail with you for just a little bit. And somehow I'm hiking the whole thing now, but I'm super excited about it. And kind of a weird thing that happened. I don't know, you don't usually meet people on the internet and you're like, I'm gonna hike with them for 5 months, but it's been a cool journey so far, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah, I also think like I don't typically, I don't know, I'm like skeptical of like purely online friendship. Like I'm not one to just like go out and be like, how like I need a hiking buddy, like, but it just like,
yeah,
we connected so well, and I think it just like naturally like built into this thing that's been really cool, and I think we're like really excited about to start in a couple of months. So yeah, it's like could not have imagined any of this from the beginning, and I think there are like so many more surprises to come as we get started and actually start hiking. But yeah, it's been really great so far.
I think a lot about how I knew that this would happen with both of you two long ago because Tori, whenever we go hiking, she's always dragging me up the hill and taking all of my gear with her. So she's like naturally gifted to do this. And Macy, I remember meeting you through Twitter, and your like tag is like runner Gustavus.
Oh, no.
And I was like, whoa, this is serious. Like, dang. So I think it was meant to be.
That's funny. I just want to clarify, yes, we know each other from the internet, but we have met in person once. It was one time in Vegas. And if we can, we're still working on, that sounds, yeah, it was one time in Vegas.
What happens if stays there though, so.
We did some work in a Tim Hortons and went and did some climbing at Red Rocks. And yeah, if we can get pictures into the editing, I'm still unsure if that's going to happen in the first introduction video, and we'll see if it can happen now. But I'll throw a picture up here of us at the Tim Hortons we were at for like 5 hours working on a grant that was due, and yeah, and us climbing. We didn't really get any pictures of ourselves except for the one at Tim Hortons, so if I can throw it in there I will. But we have met in person. Really quick, Tori, I want to go back to, you said this is like so much bigger than what you could have imagined at the start, and I thought that was really cool. What did you think this was going to be at the beginning? Did you have like a concept of like this project is going to be X, Y, and Z? Or yeah, what did the goal look like at the beginning, and how has it changed to be what it is now?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's kind of hard to remember a little bit, like because we've been thinking about this and like revising it for so long. But I really thought I was like gonna go out by myself and like
Win was gonna send you out there.
Yeah, I was just gonna like take some photos of trash, like pick it up, write down what we saw, and like continue, and just like I thought it would be like a much more I don't know, I think I just didn't see it expanding in this way, and I think that this is way more meaningful and like will reach a lot more people, and like it just like feels like this very Like it's awesome to not, and I think the idea of like me going out by myself is like not, that concept is not reality, even because there are like 50 people who start every day at the southern terminus of the PCT. Like that's, even if you're like going out on your own. But yeah, I think it was just like, oh, I'll just like go do this survey and then we'll come back and like, or write something and that'll be it. But I think a lot of what we're trying to push with like reaching out to people and maybe like getting other people who are hiking to maybe someone will want to track trash with us. Or, yeah, we'll see. I just think there are a lot of possibilities for bringing people in, and that's been super cool.
It is really cool as like a collaborative process, because this is just kind of an endless, like anybody can do a trash survey and we can kind of talk about those results, and we're kind of hoping to have like an open trash collection, trash logging aspect to this project, and we're still fleshing that out, but that would be really cool to involve people in this way. And yeah, that'll be exciting. Also, I want to mention that Win is an athlete, like a big climber over there. He's like, yeah, I saw that Macy and Tori were gonna hike. Like I could see you joining, so don't discount yourself. But
Thanks. Yeah, I think I'll join you all for like a month of it, maybe. Yeah, that's my goal right now. Like, what, I'll come like a week here and there. The main reason I don't think I can do it is I don't have the I'm too obsessed with researching trash all the time.
But you can research trash.
It's true. I know.
Every day.
It's just hard to write papers and stuff while I'm on the trail and like, analyze data and the stuff that I like really love doing. But I do love being out on the trail, and I would love to spend like a whole month this next year with y'all, and then otherwise just like supporting you on the trail by dropping food and sending letters and connecting you with people or different resources that you need while you're out there. So that's kind of how I see my role.
Nice. Win's gonna make sure we're alive.
Yeah.
Every week.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Tori, I was wondering if you could tell everybody about your science background and how that kind of inspired your work on the trail here.
Yeah. So
and your outdoor background too.
Yeah. I think those kind of go together well for this this trip. My research for a long time has been focused on environmental pollution more broadly, but more specifically like looking at oil pollution, oil spills, and then more recently pharmaceuticals in the environment. But a lot of that sampling, or like a lot of that work has been like sampling in the environment. So like, how do we collect these samples in a way that is representative of the system we're looking at? And so kind of like thinking about how to design those studies and how to collect those samples and the logistics of like being in the field, and like how do we get the samples, how do we deal with them afterwards, how do we make sure they're safe and like ready to transport. And so I think that those two things together kind of feed into this project really well, because we're going to be out for like maybe week stretches at a time, thinking about that like prep ahead of time, how we're designing the experiment or how we're designing our sampling, and then actually the logistics of carrying that out in the field. And like there's always things that go wrong, and trying to like account for that and record that and just like accept that as part of the process, because you're out in the middle of the woods and there's only like so much you can do. There's like snow covering the trail, like you're not going to get the sample you were looking for there. So I think that kind of background, and then athletically, an outdoor experience. I mean,
kind of talked about it already.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've just been like especially over the past 5 years, I think have built I'll like tie in maybe mentally here, like climbing and like solo hiking and hiking, doing backpacking trips. I think that is like a lot of mental prep, like when things just like aren't going as planned, like how do you handle those situations? Like one time we just ended up like camping overnight. We had none of our camping gear, like that. Just like having that, what's the right word, like backlog of experience, or like background of experience, I think gives me a little more confidence. Like, even if things like suck and we're just like suffering for a little bit, like I know I can just get through that and we'll like laugh about it later. So I think like mentally that's something that I can build on a
lot of
bit.
good suffer fests
Yeah.
in our past.
Yeah.
Tori,
Yeah.
you like lightly touched on being a climber, but I just have to say I've seen Tori climb and she's actually a beast. She's really good at it. So
Yeah. Tori's climbed a big wall in Yosemite.
Thanks, Win.
That's big.
I mean, I think
not just everyone can go out and do like what you do. She looks like a gazelle on the rocks, man. Spider-Man in real life.
Yeah.
I try to keep up.
I have this like back and forth right now where I'm like really psyched to climb, and then I'm like, I must be hiking. Like I need to hike. That's the priority.
But it's great training too.
Yeah,
Just like
yeah.
mental, like the mental stamina is huge. So
yeah, Macy, how do you like feel like you come into this with a bit of a different background, and like kind of knew about the project from the start too, and kind of like have always had that as part of your like planning? How do you see your background kind of fitting into this?
yeah. So like when I'm a trash person, maybe not as avid of a trash person. I don't wake up and bathe in it, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get there one day. I aspire to be you. But so I'm a trashy person too. So I am currently at Utah State and I'm finishing up my master's looking at microplastics in rivers here, and definitely like the past few years of my life have revolved around like our interactions as people with garbage and trash, and like what the end of that looks like and what do plastics in our waterways look like. And as somebody who also recreates in the outdoors pretty often, I think like this project is a really nice intersection of hobby and research for me. We're hoping to do a microplastic survey on trail, and we have plans to do that. So that's something that I'm really excited about because it's really close to like what I'm working on right now. As far as outdoor and athletic background, I didn't really actually have a lot of experience with outdoor sports before I moved out to Utah. I'm originally from Michigan and I grew up on the water, but it wasn't ever like I was out hiking all the time. I had never heard of backpacking really even until, I was already in my 20s. I have gone car camping and just camped for fun at campsites, but coming out here, that was really new to me, that people just go on a walk and set up a tent and then they walk out. So that has been really cool to realize what that is, moving out here and get into more of the outdoor sports. But I've always been a runner. I have been running competitively since middle school. So physically, like this is right up my alley. I like am a pain cave kind of person. Like I seek out things that are hard and I like to do them. Like who goes and runs really far and is just like, this is great. Like I'm having the best time ever. And this I think will be a really fun version of that. And I'm hoping that I'm in shape enough to do this. So I'm excited about it. But I think that's how my athletic and science backgrounds kind of intersect to bring me to this project. And I think that's also why it was so appealing. I was like, wow, like the fact that you can combine two things that you love in different ways into one, that's really cool to me. But
I want to add to, you talked really briefly about your science background. I've told you this, I've told lots of other people this, but we might as well get it on this recording. Your master's defense was the best I've ever seen. It was just really blew me away with how Macy developed this study of microplastics throughout a watershed, looking at spatial, temporal, relationships and the data. It was just like super advanced and really took the field to the next level. So she really set the bar like so high. I'm like, I don't even know if I can do this kind of research anymore.
That's funny.
I
Win's
still
really
try that.
nice to me.
But yeah. No. Anyways, so just want to add that in.
Yeah, and I learned from the best. And as I mentioned before, like I feel like the microplastic community is so tight knit, and there's so many great resources out there and people to learn from. And we're all kind of learning together. And I really have to say, like, thanks to my advisor for all the help with that project. Janice Brainy is really innovative in the field of microplastic research, and the stuff she's looked at in atmospheric microplastics is really interesting. And I think that this is just another frontier that we've realized, like microplastics and plastics are out in the wilderness. It's just not something we know a lot of information about. So it's time to kind of dig into that. And I think we have such a great team, guys. Like I think we're gonna have so much fun and learn so much. It's gonna be great. So
It's really going to be eye-opening. I mean, how much waste is in the wilderness currently? It is. I think it's going to be really, really teach us a lot about how to manage the problem. It's going to really teach us a lot about, um, how much has escaped our current management strategies. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to all the exciting like research that comes out of this. I can see like lots of big press releases and stuff too, where the public gets really engaged about it, which is really exciting.
yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. And whether you follow us because you're interested in through hiking or you're interested in garbage, hopefully you learn a little bit about both as we kind of learn about these things too. That's the goal, like sharing the information we're learning with you guys. And yeah, anybody have any parting thoughts before we wrap it up? Tori, anything?
No, I think that like really hit on a lot of things, and like I love like again reflecting back on the like how this journey has come together so far, and kind of like where we think it'll go, and we'll see where it ends up. But yeah, definitely excited to share. And other fun thing that like Macy and I were writing a grant together for this, and I was reading through what she had written, and I realized we have the same birthday. So it also just felt fated in that way. We're going to celebrate next June on the PCT. So that's our fun fact for today.
And hopefully we have a trashy party out there.
Yeah, we're gonna have a trash
party.
trash, trail trash, all the trash. That's how we're gonna celebrate this year. So yeah, more things, more fun things to come.
Awesome. Well, next week we're gonna try and post again. Again, we're looking at every Wednesday, the best that we can do it with the internet. I make us sound so old, but we're not, and we know how to use the internet. But so look forward to another episode of us talking about this journey and No Trace Trails. And make sure you subscribe so you know what's up all the time, and follow us on social media. But yeah, we will see you all later.
Yay. Bye.